Good afternoon. My name is Josh Hankin. Thanks again for joining me. It is 72 degrees here in Austin, Texas, especially here on the hilltop. And welcome to another installment of All Access Garage. Today, I'm going to introduce to you a very special band, a band that I've listened to since high school, someone that near and dear to my heart, the band Meltt. Thanks for joining me. Today we have Chris, James, Ian, and Jamie. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how's it
going?
Good.
Thanks
for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Of course, yeah. So, just kind of, talk about it and everything. You guys are going to be performing here at South by. How does that feel to be soon here, be in Austin, Texas for you guys?
It's unreal. It's a bucket list for sure.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah.
We're super excited to be going down. We're supposed to go down a couple years ago, and that all got canceled. So we're really happy we can make it back.
Right on, right. Yeah. Then do you plan to do anything specific here in Austin? Anything fun? I heard the barbecue's really good here. We have some good barbecue.
Yeah, we would love some barbecue recommendations. Actually, we heard Terry Black's is good. But yeah, any local favorites, we'd love to check all that out for sure.
I think the one I liked was Stubbs. Stubbs is a huge venue here, but it's also a very good barbecue place. You order, I swear, in less than a minute or two, you'll get your food. I promise you that.
Yeah.
So it's really good, man. But once again, thanks for joining us here at St. Edward's University, as well as here at the Top Radio and All Access Garage. We appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to come talk to us.
Appreciate you having us on.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, let's start from the top, shall we? How did it start for your band? Was there anything that triggered it to start it here with you guys?
Yeah, so we kind of played as like a cover band, like Jamie, myself, James, and Chris, like in high school for a little bit. And then we all went off to like different universities, and like while we were there, we were just kind of writing songs like individually, and we just would send them back to each other. I was in Montreal; these guys were in Vancouver. And then after a while of sending songs back together, we just kind of figured we should get together and actually make a band. Like this is what we really want to do, kind of with our
our own music and stuff. Yeah.
And then we made one album, our first album together with three of us. And then
EP, but
yeah. And then we added Ian to the mix, and he's just been killing it since.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, again, the albums you made and the EPs, they're just amazing. I think there's just a groovy sense to them when I'm listening to them. I feel like, in a way, you kind of can get high to the songs, right? Just jam out to them. I remember back in the day, man. I never smoked, but my buddies who would. They would always go ahead and for legal reasons, right? We can't, but they would go and just put these songs on. It's just such a groovy tune to it. I think there's something with the music that you make that's just so relaxing and so interesting. So I can understand why. But I guess maybe at a whole band level or perhaps an individual level per you guys. Was there anyone who kind of inspired you possibly to get into the music scene?
We were in it from such a young age, I guess. I remember me and Chris have gone to school since kindergarten, and he was always playing guitar, even back in grade 1, 2, 3. And my dad was a drummer, so I always had that influence. And then in grade 5 or 6 is when I started taking lessons, because we were going to do this show for our elementary school, and we all had influences from the classic rock bands from our parents. I think our parents were huge and bringing us into that space of music with the 70s and 80s classic rock bands. That's kind of where it started for us, I think, initially. And then we played together throughout high school, and me and Chris have been played a couple shows in elementary school for school dances, and then we became influenced by more modern alternative rock, like bands like Foals, Tame Impala, Kasabian, Glass Animals, Radiohead, lots of these types of bands that we started expanding into. And I think those are our main influences. But I think we've always just been involved with music ever since being super, super young. So we just enjoyed playing together, and wanted to see if we could write. And
we have tons of influences, but I feel like the first kind of two artists that made me personally think maybe we could do this. It's listening to the early Black Keys stuff, where it's really just rough, and there's just hearing about two guys just bumming it in a van, touring all stuff. It's just really inspiring. And then this Canadian guy, Sam Roberts, who I think is really underrated. He's a unreal, he's just super sick band. He was the first Canadian guy where I was oh shit, this guy's really dope, and it's we could maybe do something like that.
Right on. Yeah. And I mean, Again, I mean, would you say this is possibly another interesting thing, another take? But I know that other people that I've interviewed, they mentioned that kind of going to live concerts. Does that kind of also put into perspective your music scene, kind of for to help you guys as well become better performers?
Oh, yeah, like I can say like I think a lot of us are like I always try to go to like every show that I can possibly go to of bands I like. So I'm always on like I buy the tickets instantly if I can because I don't want to be like, oh, I missed this, it's sold out and I can't go now. I'm always just like super into trying to get to every show I can and like wait in the line and get a good spot. And I just love going to live shows. And yeah, it's fun to try to like make a show that other people can experience like from the other side of the stage.
Yeah,
Cool.
a good live show is just a completely different experience from anything else, and incredibly inspiring as well. Like I think I've written my best songs after seeing a mind blowing show or something like that. Just kind of riding that high.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think and I think that's why I'm pretty excited to see a lot of bands. I mean, I have like a whole bucket list of bands, but one of the bands is your guys, and I'm fortunate enough to go see you guys in South by, and I think kind of to your point, it's more of seeing you guys live. It kind of inspires me because I've picked up recently a hobby of just playing on the guitar, and it's just more of like me just trying to strum it out, but I'm terrible. Let's be real. So just kind of trying to get different vibes from different bands. I can totally understand why that's something you guys can see that as well for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely helped shape what we've made. Like obviously the influence of like, oh, like I can see that career is like inspiring, but then also just different bands we blatantly say we take inspiration from. Like I think like for example during the Visions era, I think the Glass Animals album Zaba was definitely a strong influence for us then. A lot of other bands too, but just kind of seeing those kind of things live definitely makes it seem more tangible and like, oh man, you could do this.
Yeah.
Not just a recording that's impressive.
Oh yeah, definitely, and I totally get that. I think that's something that a lot of people can probably agree on with that. But for you, is there I guess a background to the band name Meltt? Perhaps is there kind of a story behind that name for you guys?
The main thing was like we always wanted a name that, like, have you ever heard of the band Junip? Like
It sounds familiar. I can't say I know
like
the spot.
Jose Gonzalez plays in it, but it's just like it's a word that doesn't really. It only means that band, and we like the idea of like a word that was just like you heard the word and it was just our band. Like there was no other like peripheral kind of thing to it. So we like threw around ideas, and then we ended up going with Meltt because we kind of thought it was like sounded sort of like the music we were making.
Yeah. Honestly, it's kind of like the word melt, but it also like it kind of represents like the style of music we play, and kind of represents us like through that word in a way. But also obviously, adding the extra T kind of gives it another like vibe, like also like the physically melting, like extending, and washiness. And it's also like it's kind of an easy word to say. It's one word, it's strong, and we also have some, heavier rock stuff. So
Oh, definitely, yeah. I feel like it kind of matches. Now that you mention it, right? It kind of matches what the style of music you go for, and I think you achieved it pretty well with that name. I think I mentioned it. I'll say it again. It's the music you make is very groovy, very chill out. It feels like he just again gets high to it for some reason. I think that's the main thing I do, but I can totally understand that for sure with you guys. But more for like an individual level for you guys, outside of music, do you guys possibly, you have any hobbies, sports, you like to attend events or something? Is there anything you like to do?
I thought you were going to ask me if we smoke weed, but...
Oh, do you? I mean, if you want, if you do, that's a good activity, right?
For the sake of crossing borders, we do not smoke weed. Yeah, we have lots of interests. We're all into different stuff. I really like, my main thing is like going outdoors and like going surfing or camping. That kind of stuff is like my favorite things to do. Kayaking.
Kayaking. I'm also a big kayak guy. I love cooking personally myself, and I have a dog as well that takes up a lot of my time. A very good one.
I'm kind of a bit of a fitness buff. I love to get out there and run or work out, go to the gym, do that kind of thing. Love to watch movies, like new movies, tons of different films and that kind of thing.
Watch a lot of Tim and Eric.
Tim and Eric fans, or anything associated. Absolutely Productions, basically.
And you, Chris, do you do anything? perhaps?
Yeah, I'm kind of similar to these guys. Like a lot of, I like to go outdoors, hang out with my girlfriend, bike around here is a really nice thing to do where we live. Haven't done it as much as I'd like to, but I do like kayak camping. It's a really cool thing. I want to do more this summer, hopefully, if we have time. And yeah, casually surfing Tofino's highlighted the year usually too. Just camping up there is really nice.
Right on. Dude, there's a lot of spots here in Austin. I know that the university I'm at, we have this thing called the St. Edward's Trail. You might want to check it out. It's very nice. It's like a very nice little hiking spot. It's really chill. I think you guys would probably enjoy it if you guys like the outdoor nature-ish type of thing there. And Austin has a lot of good little spots here and there. And to another point, yeah, movies are just a big thing now. I think they're way better than when they, before well, I guess when the pandemic started, there was really nothing, and now we have all these movies coming out. In fact, are you guys going to watch the new Batman film this week?
I might. We'll probably won't have time before we leave, but because just so much prep we're actually leaving on Monday. So probably not enough time for that, but I would love to if I had time for sure. That'd be awesome. I'm excited for that one. I've heard only good things about it.
Yeah,
so.
we were talking about that earlier, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly,
Jackass movie, but I should see that too.
I saw that one a couple of weeks ago with my roommate. Man, it was the same dumb humor I grew up with. I know my mom and dad would never let me watch that at all. I was probably like 6 or 7, maybe around that age.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad would literally block out MTV from my TV all the time. It was one of those things where my dad, when my mom was out at work, and sometimes she'd stay out, my dad was like, "Hey, come here," and he would take me to his room, and we'd go watch Jackass all night. He starts laughing and everything, and he's like, "You better not tell your mom," and everything. So
yeah, I remember I was introduced
definitely
to Jackass when I was like 10, 11, or 12, something like that. And same kind of thing. Just went to my buddy's house and watched it there, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Would never be allowed to watch that at home, which is hilarious. But yeah, definitely lots of nostalgia with that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good way of kind of relaxing yourselves. I'm pretty sure you guys. I think you were mentioning you guys kind of got off a little bit of a tour right now, and just kind of. Can you go ahead and explain that just a bit?
Yeah, our tour. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So well, we I kind of originated from the fact that so we got South by Southwest, and we also got accepted into a festival in Idaho called Treefort. And Treefort pays the artist, whereas South by Southwest is just like a showcase. The benefit of South by Southwest not paying artists is that you can get into the States for free. But since this other festival we're getting paid, all of a sudden we have to pay this work visa to come into the country. So we're like, well, that's pretty shitty just to like pay way more money than we'll actually get from this one festival. So I figured, well, we may as well play some shows on the way down, drive down. And so yeah, we booked ourselves a little West Coast tour, and is that fun?
Yeah, real nuts and bolts.
Well, yeah, that's the origin of this tour, really.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we probably would have just flown into South by Southwest.
When we first got South by Southwest and Treefort, we had the same 2 festivals booked for 2020, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And that's when everything got canceled. Like we were planning to fly down to South by, fly back, and then drive to Idaho and back. That was kind of the thing, because it was kind of similar timing, like Treefort's end of March and South by mid-March. And then obviously that all got shut down at the beginning of COVID. It was that week or something, funny enough. And then when this came around again, we got into both festivals again, which is awesome. And then we're like, okay, like as Ian said, we're like, okay, we got to pay for a work visa if we're going to do Boise. So why don't we have some time, we can plan it a bit. Why don't we try and drive down to Austin, do shows along the way, and then bomb up to Boise and home. So we're doing a little bit of a circle. So a lot of driving, but we'll start on Monday next week.
Yeah, it's gonna be our first U.S. shows ever. So we're playing Monday in Seattle. That's the 7th. We're playing San Francisco on the 9th. That's the Wednesday. LA the 10th, and then Santa Ana on the 11th. And then over to Austin.
But I mean, you have, I think so, like these festivals are pretty big and whatnot. So you have another 2 weeks to you get here to Austin. So we'll talk a little bit about more on the tours just in a bit. But just kind of going back to you guys, right? You know, if it wasn't for the music scene that you guys were in personally, what do you see yourself possibly at?
Me personally, I'd be unhappy in a office job. I actually went to school for engineering myself, so that's probably what I'd be doing. But like I said, not pumped about it.
Definitely for this,
I
which
quit.
is
Yeah, I
really,
quit the job for the boys here.
and I work like Vancouver's got like it's like a pretty big city for the film industry. That's where I work. I went to went to school for that. So I have like a job and I'm in the union here for that. So that's probably what I'd be doing, but I'm really fighting to not do that for the rest of my life. So hoping to make this really work. So
Yeah, I don't really know. Probably like unhappily pursuing academia because that was kind of my main thing. To be honest, this was like always what I wanted to do. Basically, when I hit university, I kind of knew.
yeah.
Good old valedictorian James. over
Yeah,
there.
threw it all away.
Yeah, I don't know. I graduated from UBC with poli sci and international relations. That always kind of interested me. I just wasn't into like the maths or like the medical or science or that kind of thing. I kind of just thought I'd get a degree and just choose what I'm decent at and what I enjoy. And yeah, and then after that, I decided to just take a break and pursue the music full time after I got my degree. And yeah, I'm actually in the middle of doing a law degree online because when COVID hit, I decided I would just see if I can, do some, get something done in the meantime. We had no idea what was going to happen with music and everything. So I did a 2-year program, which is going to finish up this May. And I guess that would be probably what I'd be doing more full time if music wasn't a thing. But yeah.
No, you're right on. I mean, I think music kind of connects a lot of people together. I think that's something maybe you guys can agree on. There's certain musicians or certain people who can, put together a piece and it just brings people to it. I know that there's other people who go ahead and it's the idea that, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, but it's the idea that music's such a beautiful art form that people just love it and create it, and it's just. I think the best idea that a lot of other people had was that artists make the music for themselves, and whether or not people like it or not, that's up to them. So I think that's kind of a good thing that you guys kind of had the same mindset, kind of doing that. And I mean, if I had the chance to, if I knew how to probably properly strum a guitar and probably do that, I probably might have followed you guys. But Lord knows I'm terrible at that.
You gotta start. Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
We all were brutal when we first started playing. It's a tough. It's not easy to learn an instrument. It takes a lot of time and
Yeah,
determination.
The main thing is how much enjoyment you're getting out of it. I
Yeah.
would say is always the most important thing.
No, definitely, and I think that's something that is important to keep up on, and it kind of leads on to our the next question, which will tie into this one in a sense. You guys, like you mentioned, you guys were going to come here to South by Southwest, do all these tours and whatnot before the pandemic started, and then the pandemic hit. So, how has the pandemic hit you, and how have you tried to overcome it as of now?
Yeah. Well, yeah. At first, it was we had released our first full length LP in September 2019, and trying to build on that and promote that, and getting some festivals, South by and Treefort, and trying to play shows. And then so when it all happened in March, it was a huge bummer. We were obviously all super disappointed, and we realized we wouldn't be able to play shows for a long time. Like, we had no idea at the beginning how long it would be, but a long time. But we did actually end up getting lucky a few months later, within the next few months, in terms of our music really picked up online. We got into some YouTube and Spotify algorithms, which really, really helped bring our music to a lot more people. And so our streams like exponentially shot up through YouTube and Spotify, and that was really awesome. So I don't know if that would have happened without the pandemic, people at home listening, discovering new music. I don't know, but it timed out to be that, we couldn't play shows, but lots of fans and lots of new listeners. So that was one really positive thing. And then I guess the other silver lining was we managed to, it was hard to play together and to write. It was slow going, but the only thing you could kind of focus on doing is making new music when you're not playing shows. So I had to just buckle down and write music and get that done in the meantime. We went away on holiday. Well, not holiday. We went away on a trip to write and to kind of isolate ourselves and do new music. And that was another great thing that came out of it. So yeah, I mean, always positives and negatives. It definitely at first was super disappointing, but in the end, we're lucky that we got these shows again, the same festivals, and now we've built a much larger fan base, probably as well because of the pandemic. So definitely a bit of both,
Yeah, definitely.
It was
I'm
really
sorry.
interesting period of time because it was obviously, like, everyone will say similar things, but it was kind of like a time where everyone was shut down. Like, there was no work to say no to, or there was no social gatherings to say no to. So it's kind of like genuinely just at home, content, just time. I didn't have to work. I couldn't work. So it was kind of an interesting period of like kind of learning a lot of the tools I already had owned, like music plugins or like instruments, synths. Kind of like developed a lot of skills, and like I think like I learned developed a lot during that solo time actually, which was nice. And then it just helped, like everyone kind of had some ideas and demos, and then we could kind of work off the new record from those demos basically. It was an interesting period because it's never been quite like that before, obviously. So it was good. It was like a lot of good things about it in a good way.
Oh, definitely, yeah. You know, end of the
Art for a long time. It kind of slowed.
Yeah.
Kind of like, well, a lot of this new music that we've been working on and started releasing was all done during the pandemic, and would have been a lot faster had we been able to get in a room together every day. What we were all being pretty careful, especially at the beginning there when the actual fear of COVID was much more prevalent. It kept us apart and kept us
writing isolated, trying to write music, which is obviously a thing you have to do together. It's not easy to do that when you're all apart and you're just trying to send each other demos, and there's just little tweaks that you would do in a room if you were together, and you're having to kind of like give notes while you receive another bounce, and the guy has to. It was really, really slow and difficult, but we kind of had all the time in the world at that point, so at least that was kind of the case. So
no, yeah, definitely, because I know that a lot of people were mentioning how they would record something and send it to their friend, the other bandmate, and then they had to send it to everyone else. Kind of had to form together and then send it back. It was kind of like an ongoing thing that would made it difficult, and I'm sure it kind of was similar to your situation where everything time slowed down a bit for you guys, and it was just very difficult.
It was kind of interesting because we had one period of time like where we were together. We went away for a month and isolated together for one period of time, and the amount of work and stuff we got done in that period of time was crazy. It was tons because we were just every day pretty much playing and developing and writing, and so we got tons done. We had all these like very skeletal demos that we needed to realize and arrange and write to, and did tons of work, and then come back, and obviously we had all that progress, but then your production just goes straight down to like a snail's pace from there, so it was nice that we had that period to really get a lot done, but then when you come back and you're moving at like an exponentially slower pace, it's a bit frustrating, but it was what it was. And I think it also let us sit with the music for a long time and develop it over a long period of time, which is different than normal, and we're kind of forced to do that. So it developed slowly, but we could really, really add the details we wanted and change the things we wanted and develop it in a kind of full realized way where there's no rush and just small little things and tweaking it to a product that we really, really like. So
of course, and because of that time, I'm assuming you've had you actually ended up just releasing a single recently called "Only in Your Eyes." So I had a chance to jam out to it, and I think literally I probably listened to it at least a good 10 times in one day, just jamming out to it, because I was like, you kind of, I hate to bring myself into the conversation, but you got to study all this, got to kind of get into the playbooks and everything, right? Make sure you're talking about the right stuff. So, but while doing that, I jammed out a lot, and I think you guys killed it with this song, and I'm really eager to wait for the next couple of songs you're releasing, or possibly an LP later on. So. I'm pretty excited for that.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
You have lots to be excited for. We promise.
Yeah.
Definitely. But kind of looking back at your previous tours now, right? You guys went ahead and you've done a lot of stuff beforehand. How has it kind of shaped you and put the music scene in perspective for you? Have you picked up on any things that the audience has done? Have you done anything to prepare differently for going into live music scenes, perhaps? Any superstitions, possibly? Maybe you go ahead and tie your left shoe first before you do your right,
I think I'm the only one with a weird band ritual. It's like I always just take my phone and wallet out of my pants and put them somewhere off stage, because I just don't want like day-to-day life on stage. I don't want money or communication.
I do actually do that, but for a slightly different reason, because drumming. I don't want to like physically hit like a phone or a wallet in my pocket, so I just need nothing in there. So kind of but different reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
Anything else?
This is very specific to one area of Vancouver where we sometimes play shows. But there's this one burrito place that we always go.
Oh yeah,
before it.
there's a good run of
Before in
venues
this
there.
area.
Yeah, there's a good run of venues in that area, and we'll go there and eat after we're done sound check before we play. That's a little bit of a ritual, but yeah, we haven't done any big major tours outside of BC at all. So
Yeah, we've never toured.
we did a little weekend thing on the island, Vancouver Island, and that was a night or a couple nights and a few shows. But yeah, that's about the extent of the amount of on the road we've done. So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be a new experience for us that we're super pumped for, of course. But yeah, guys, we're just going to kind of take it as it comes, I guess, you know, and you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is some stuff in your pocket for sure. You know, you got some stuff down for sure, and you know, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna be ready for what has to come for the U.S. tour. And I know that a lot of people here, when I mentioned you guys were coming in, I know a lot of people almost automatically were like, "Oh my God, I know these people and everything." So you have a huge following here, and I'm pretty sure that here in Austin, you get like a huge crowd going. So.
That's really, really awesome.
That's
Yeah,
really nice to know.
we've seen some Spotify statistics, and Texas and Austin are always on the list there, and usually the top 5. So we definitely are super pumped that you Austiners are fans of us.
Austinites?
Austinites.
Yeah, Austinites, right?
Austinites.
I'm from South Texas, so I'm kind of a little bit new here to Austin.
Yeah.
So I think that's Austinites. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, what is it called? Especially because you're coming during a festival where every single the venue is going to be packed. So I'm almost guaranteed that the venue you'll be playing at will probably be packed. So
Really good to hear. Yeah, yeah, we have actually a few shows too where we're doing our official showcase, and we have a couple other shows we'll be playing during the week too. So one for our booking agency show, and another show we just confirmed today at Swan Dive on the Friday on the 18th at 3:30. So that'll be at the same venue that we play at on our official showcase on Tuesday. But yeah, so we can't wait to play a bunch of shows there in front of you guys.
yeah. So you know, kind of, you know, on the previous gigs you've had, you know, is there any kind of like memorable you know, moments you've had? Anything funny perhaps that you guys like to share with us?
We've played these like bush parties, like, so it's just someone gets a generator and then you go out and play like in the woods, like in BC, just like scattered around, middle of nowhere.
No
like
service.
we played this one year on like a big riverbank, and it was like a super sick show, super fun.
It was in the fall though, so
Yeah,
it was a little
like,
bit rainy.
It was like early fall, but like this whole time we're playing, it's just raining.
Yeah.
And then we just bring a tent and we're gonna like, our plan is like, oh, we'll just sleep in the tent.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, we'll just take our gear out and we'll go. We just wake up at like first thing in the morning, like 4:30 a.m. or something. And some guy's just like, the river's rising. And it turned out there was like this fucking flash flood, literally like just reaming this river, just like just going straight through.
Yeah.
So
took up
like
the whole venue area, and
it was like probably like the most like freaky 20 or 30 minutes or whatever. We just getting all this gear and just like running it back and forth to our van, which is like was like parked up on the road, and then just like literally like swimming with guitar cases like out of this place, like actually
They're down in the canoe or
fucked.
something.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
some guy, like in the very last moment, this guy showed up in a canoe and like put our amplifiers in it and saved our amps, because otherwise they were just gonna be like left in the river. It was fucking crazy. There was like trees falling like out of the riverbank. It was wild.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah,
It's like the most adrenaline I've ever had.
Yeah.
it actually lasted a couple hours. It wasn't like not fast. It was,
Yeah.
It felt fast, but it was like long. It was a long time to evacuate everybody and everything.
Yeah.
It was like a crisis for sure.
Yeah.
We almost lost everything.
Like literally
Pretty much.
everything.
Yeah.
Like,
And did you guys manage to still play somehow throughout that time?
Well, this was after our set, luckily.
It was the morning after. It was all
Yeah.
over.
Oh wow! I thought, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully all your instruments are okay now. I'm assuming, right?
Everything.
The show was really fun, actually. We had a big tent, so even though it was like a bit rainy and people were underneath the tent, they were comfortable. yeah, super fun show, great crowd, and
Just
then
all these hippies out in the middle of the woods.
yeah,
It's like literally like a thunderstorm after playing. It was pretty.
it was
epic.
cool, yeah.
Yeah.
But as it went on, it got scarier. But yeah, other shows, we got lots of other experiences. Nothing that quite compares to that in terms of an epic story. But our recent show at the Fox we played was the first show we played in over 2 years, 2 years and 4 months or something. So that was super fun. Really, really awesome to be back on stage to a sold out crowd, which was really awesome. And we played a couple cool shows at UBC, Battle of the Bands, some big shows at Thunderbird Stadium, and some cool festivals out there that we remember. And yeah, definitely some cool experiences in Vancouver for sure over the years.
No, definitely. And as you know, I guess kind of on a, kind of going back to the tour idea, right? Especially here in Austin. I'm pretty sure you guys have fun. I know I keep bringing it up, but you mentioned, because it does show on the website. I know I'm kind of bringing it a little bit off, but it says that you were scheduled at the Swan Dive on the 15th at 11 to 12, correct? So you have multiple ones coming up here for sure then.
That's our official showcase. Yeah,
That's the showcase, yeah.
Excited for it.
Gotcha. Just want to make sure because we are posting for you guys to increase hopefully a full house for you guys. So
Yeah, thank you.
So kind of going to you guys, you guys have an amazing fan base. A lot of, especially, I get the whole controversial thing on Spotify going on right now, but besides that, you guys have a very sizable fan base. So my question to you is, what makes your fan base so unique compared to other fan bases, and what makes them the best out of the rest?
We love our fans, absolutely. We find that our fans, they're really kind about sharing things like in comments and stuff on Instagram, YouTube, DMing us, and we like to connect with them. We like to make sure like we interact in some way with everybody that sends us messages. But yeah, really just like unique, kind comments we get all the time that we just absolutely love seeing. And yeah, I don't know.
A really diverse crowd, I guess. Is very international. Like, it's not like, you just see people from all over the world. It's kind of amazing to see just how crazily worldwide the people listening and engaging with us are. It's I don't know how common that is or not. I can't say it isn't, but it's come to a surprise to me. Like, I never expected to. I'm just happy that anyone's listening, but the fact that it's so widespread is pretty cool. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think we're all just so stoked that anybody is like interested or listening that it's like we really want to like get to know who these people are and stuff. So I don't know, every time we're like shipping out vinyl and stuff, like if it's a new country we've never shipped to, I'll write like a little note being like, you're the first person in this country that's like ordered vinyl, like send them some stickers and stuff. Just cool to like communicate with people. And then like Instagram DMs and stuff, like we always try to respond and like talk to these people. So we're genuinely like really interested who's listening and like what they think and stuff. So
yeah, we get a lot of really, really cool fan DMs about how our music's affected them, and some experiences, like some personal experiences they've had, which is always super touching. Like, that's the coolest thing about hearing from a fan is when you realize that you've really like affected them in a positive way, and you've had an impact on their life in some way. It's super, super cool. And yeah, getting those messages, like Chris said, from people around the world, especially even we have a big fan base in South America and Mexico, Brazil. Those two, Mexico and Brazil, are really, really big for us. Obviously the States is one of the biggest audiences, but just having like those pockets in Thailand and Mexico, Brazil, Peru, all these places that you wouldn't think that your music could reach, or you'd be surprised at, and getting Spanish DMs and having to translate them, and but they're and our fans, I think we always are surprised that when we like if you look at Only in Your Eyes, like on YouTube, like the comments are just so overwhelmingly positive and friendly and complimentary, that it's really humbling for us to see that from so many people in so many places. And yeah, we have really, really awesome fans in that way. Definitely couldn't be more thankful for that, for sure.
No, yeah, definitely. And I think that, the music that you make, I keep saying it over and over and over, but it's just, it hits home for a lot of people. And for me, I think the reason why I'm still listening a lot today is because it's so nostalgic, kind of for me, when I was younger, listening to you guys, and then now almost graduating college now, it's just so interesting to listen to. And it's just, even now with the that single you just posted, it feels like a Meltt song, and I
Mhm.
think that's what a lot of some musicians don't get right at times. Is
Mm.
some songs of theirs don't sound like their songs. They sound. I mean, I get the idea of trying to experiment with stuff,
Yeah.
but you guys nailed it to what a Meltt song should be and what it sounds like. So, you know, a lot of the time too, I think that's what fans. Maybe I can speak on behalf of all the fans here, but you know, we're looking specifically for me. I'm looking for something that kind of repeats itself, but in a good way. And you know, when I first heard about you guys, you know, kind of down in South Texas, we don't really. We're kind of, you know, I hate to say it, we're just kind of still a little bit prehistoric when it comes to some music and you know the world in general. So when I first heard you guys, you know, I was like, I've never heard of these people, and they're like, yeah, you should take a you know much more of a listen, and it just becomes like you mentioned, you're all over the place now. You know, you have a lot of people
How did
who
you
adore
first,
you guys.
discover our music? Just curious.
I discovered it because my buddies and I, he had just recently picked me up from my house, and he started putting on the radio on his phone on through Spotify, and I went and checked it out, and it was on the. Coincidentally, he didn't. How was it? He didn't go ahead and put it there. It was kind of like the Discover Weekly type of thing,
Okay, yeah.
and your guys came out, and I
Okay.
was like, "Is this?" I told him, I was like, "Is this the band that you've heard?" He's like, "I don't even know who this band is." And I went ahead and I just I put it on my likes, and now if I show you my Spotify, it's gonna show all the way back in like 2017, I think, with your first album or something like that. So
EP,
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
so it just goes to show, you know, and to your extent, to your point, yeah, you know, it connects a lot of people. You know, it helps a lot of people, and like I mentioned, you know, music is an art form that connects people, and you know, wants them to work together. But kind of, you know, a question personally from me to you: have you guys ever decided to make like a Discord, probably for your fans to connect with each other?
I think
someone
we
actually
haven't.
made one.
I wanna
Someone
say
made
it
one,
exists,
yeah.
but we haven't really interacted with it in a way that we probably should yet.
Yeah,
true.
yeah. I remember something about a Discord being made.
There is
though.
one.
There
Yeah,
is one,
I'm
yeah.
on there. I haven't actually. I should check it. I think I checked it recently. I don't think anyone was on there for the new release yet, though. I checked.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hey, join
I-
the Discord.
No, yeah, definitely, I will. I mean, I know
Yeah,
there's a lot of.
Discord.
Let's get a community.
There's a Meltt
It's great.
subreddit as well. That's
Yeah.
really.
And there's actually a
I-
fan page that someone made like a month ago on Facebook as well. It's like Swim Slowly with Meltt or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like a lot of bands now, you know, when you associate Discord with, you know, with anything, it's much more of gaming, right? And now I have a lot of bands where just like they're like, oh yeah, join my Discord. I'm like, wait, what? And it's just kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just kind of cool because it's like these bands now are just kind of, you know, they're not they're looking for everyone to kind of explore, you know, all different types of backgrounds. What makes
Yeah,
it
you
pretty
want to
cool.
find new avenues and any kind of avenue you can find that connects you with people. I mean, that's what music, like you said, we're in the business of connecting with people. So any avenue is a good one if it connects you with one person, right? So
Definitely, and it makes, you know, I do appreciate, you know, kind of go to the idea where you are interacting with your fans. You know, a lot of people,
Yeah.
like again, a lot of bands unfortunately kind of have the superiority complex, like, oh, I have this amount of fans on Spotify. It's like I'm kind of too good to, you know, talk to you. I'm like, dude, I was like, you know what? And I think someone who mentioned it, I don't know if you know the band The Idols, but just kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
they were, you know, I was jamming out to them, and one of the concerts they said, you like, don't let these bands tell, you know, don't let them be better than you, because of you, the fans, you're what makes the band.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's totally 100% true. Like
And
that-
it's like,
yeah.
I really do appreciate when bands take the time out, you know, the time out of the day to just even reply, you know, it's kind of like you post like, oh, you were my favorite band this year, you know, a little thank you, you know what I mean, goes a long way. And I think that's what kind of separates you guys from everyone else, a lot of bands, because you guys have a community you're able to talk to. And I think that's something that
we do our best to interact with anyone who posts about us. Like our stories are usually, we're not that active on social media just because that's how we are, but we're trying to be better. But in terms of like when people post about us and mention us, or when they tag us, we try to post every single mention or tag of like if they're covering a song of ours or just listening to our music or DMing us or whatever. We do our best to always repost it or engage with them some way, because we're just happy that anyone's listening, like we said. So you know, we try to engage with as many of those people as possible, and YouTube comments, liking them, and just knowing that we're seeing it. You know, we try to look at everything. So
And also, we're still all just fans of other bands as well. So it's like we just see ourselves as like the same as these
Yeah.
people that are reaching out to us. Like we're
Yeah.
also fans of
Yeah,
these
we're
other
just
bands
like
that
them.
we love to
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
reach out
And
to.
definitely because I always had this stigma, right? For some reason that I don't, and I know it was a terrible stigma, but kind of like I felt like people in bands were just kind of like in a sense a robot. But then when I get to talk to them, they're more of like they're people just like me, just like you. You know, they have interests that they love, they do stuff that they enjoy, and you know, like what you mentioned, it was much more that you like us are just fans of everyone else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that every creator is just, is always going to be a fan of someone else. Everyone's obviously inspired by someone, and everyone is into something, like you said, whether it's music or even something else. We're just all just people that are interested in different things, and so yeah, we're the same as any one of our fans. We have bands that we go crazy over, that we comment on, that we would love to have the same interaction with.
Yeah.
So for us,
So yeah,
it's
it puts a smile on everyone's face. The first time any band noticed me, I literally, I went to my mom and I was like, "Mom, look, somebody responded to me." And I was just so happy, and it's just like, because it makes your day.
Like,
And
yeah.
especially coming out of these dark times, with the pandemic, a lot of the time, fortunately, I'm privileged enough to say that I've had people to support me, people to back me up and whatnot, to make me feel the person I am today. And a lot of people don't have that privilege. But kind of going back to the idea of creating music and everything, and letting people listen to it, it connects with them, and they love that. So any connection they have with the band is just so much better. It makes them so much happier, and that's why even when I DM'd you for this, and I was like, the way I look at it is, since I'm a big guy of hockey, I mentioned to you before. I'm pretty sure you know the guy Wayne Gretzky. He
Yeah.
goes, and one of the main things he's ever said was, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take."
Yeah.
And it's just like, whether he was mentioning that for hockey or for real life, it's still, you can argue any side. Either way, the idea is that you're not going to know until you try.
yeah.
So
No, that's a very applicable quote to anything in life, I think.
So it's just much more that maybe I can speak on behalf of all your fans or people who've talked to you, but it's very, we want to thank you kind of for allowing you guys to connect with us, being more than a band and kind of almost like friends to an extent. So I think that's really awesome of you guys.
Well, we're
For
just
sure. I would
super
just-
appreciative of you
yeah.
guys too.
I would just say thanks to everyone that listens and like reaches out. Like it really means a lot to us. Like it genuinely really does. So,
Yeah. Every single fan is so appreciated. So
And we can't wait to finally meet some, like in real life now in the US, like so many people that we've messaged.
yeah,
They said they'll
it's
be at the
funny.
show. It'll be kind of nice to actually see them in real life and talk.
It's
to them,
funny
you
to
know?
see seeing numbers on Spotify. That's what we've been looking at basically for 2 years now. So it's amazing
just
to
numbers. Yeah.
go see people.
Some of our favorite interactions. I've gone to some shows with these guys, and
Yeah.
we've snuck backstage or something to meet some artists, like one of our favorite
It's
artists, like
embarrassing.
gotten past security somehow, and some of our most favorite or just went to the merch booth after the show, and some of our favorite like interactions with our musical heroes in that way. So yeah,
One
we're
time
definitely excited to interact.
We
with people.
snuck into the backstage and like we're hiding in a bush for
Oh,
10 minutes waiting to like
First, it was-
appear normal.
Yeah,
And then by the time we actually got through and we were like in the backstage, someone points to us and the band is already meeting and greeting people behind
outside,
the
like
real
paths.
we like came in and did meet and greet from the back end.
As if we were like the band. It was hilarious. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We've done some funny
We're,
stup for that.
Yeah.
We're fans as much as anyone.
so stupid.
Borderline cringe behavior.
Oh, totally.
It'd be kind of funny if you guys had the same scenario happen where someone else came doing the same thing with you
We
guys.
definitely would
I'd be
understand
flattered
it.
if someone's
We
doing
would
that.
totally understand that because we've been there. Yeah.
Right on.
Well,
Well, yeah, no, I mean, again, it's again, I'm just happy you guys are just very lighthearted, talking, just willing to, just willing to just take the extra step to have people be really appreciative of you. So, kind of on a final note for that one, thank you on that. So,
Well, no problem. Yeah. Like everyone's interested.
so kind of going back into your band, right? How does a song come into existence? I know that just kind of pulling up the Spotify right now. You have a lot of songs. In fact, I think one of the songs, "Love Again," has over like 5 million listens on that. So if you can, just kind of how does a song come to exist for your band? There's some
Well,
themes you try to follow, perhaps.
each song would have its own tale, I guess. Like they're not like, oh, every single song is like this.
We definitely don't have a formula for creation.
No, I mean it's never a clear answer of how, but for Love Again specifically, that one was just like playing around with Arteria VST synth program, which we literally just watched like a video of this artist Nils Fromm and another guy, was Oliver Arnolds, and they were playing on this synth, and it was like an inspiring like session, and so it just caused us to want to open this VST that emulates one of the synths that was being used in that video. And then there was just like a patch that kind of had the pretty similar to what that synth patch is in Love Again. And then basically I just was fucking around with settings of the speed of the LFO, and then just played some chords, and then started looping those verse chords, and then just quickly just added a couple layers, and then like the verse was kind of existing in like 15 or 20 minutes. And then we were like actually just like about to start recording that album while that was happening, for example, in that song.
Yeah.
And basically the next day wrote the chorus for it, and then we worked on it as a group from there and developed the final idea. And then luckily we were able to record those drums in time to actually be able to finish producing it for that Swim Slowly album. Just barely in there.
Yeah, sometimes songs come like that. It'll just be like one of us working on something at home. Like James will come up with a guitar thing, and he'll flesh out like a verse and a chorus, and then we'll bring it into the room, and obviously we'll add our own touches. I'll add real drums, and it'll kind of either totally change it or it'll just complement what he's doing. Sometimes Chris will do something like that. Sometimes Ian will bring in a song that he has fleshed out, like not fully, but a good skeleton of what chorus, verse, or some kind of changes. And then we'll come up with like a bridge, or maybe it'll be a verse and a bridge, and we'll come up with a chorus, or maybe it'll be just one arrangement, just a verse, and we'll have to come up with a chorus and a bridge. Or maybe it'll be, sometimes it's just a chord, like a riff, a guitar riff. I know for a couple songs like Deeper Water, that intro guitar riff on Deeper Water, it came from some long 45-minute jam that we had, that I had on a voice memo. And we took just that riff from it and developed a totally different song around it. Everything kind of came from that initial riff that was in a different part of a crazy long jam. We used to do these crazy long jams, and then sometimes we'd pick certain things out of it. So each song is definitely developed in a very different way. Sometimes a lot of it's done in the room, like Deeper Water, where we have a riff and we'll just develop the whole thing. Sometimes these guys have their demos and we'll bring it in and just do small changes. And
yeah, like the song SOS was a James say, like, and that was pretty much exactly how it is in the record. Is a lot of those layers in the demo were just used. So like sometimes there's those magic bits that just occur when you're writing it, they actually save. It's kind of cool sometimes.
A lot on this next batch of music we've been working on, a lot of stuff snuck in from like those very first recordings.
The idea coming to life, literally being recorded.
There's magic in it. Sometimes you just can't reproduce.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as the lyrics go, is there kind of like a story you guys possibly try to follow? Is for some, I know for some albums I listen to personally, they have stories that follow throughout the beginning to the end, or do you guys have its own story per song?
I think it's probably per song, but then at the same time, there's definitely like
Thematic,
similar themes that are in our mind while we're writing the songs. And then like, I don't know, we'll be working on a particular idea or something, and then it'll come up again, but sort of expanded upon in a different song. And then you keep doing that, and then like over the course of a whole album, you sort of get like a story starts appearing a little bit. It's not like it's definitely not like a prog rock, like we plan out a big narrative or kind of thing, but it seems to slowly happen. Like I know on Swim Slowly it kind of did, and then on this new album there's definitely like similar themes and sort of a story going on.
Yeah, I think we all contribute to the lyric writing. Some songs are more one of us, and then we all come in and kind of change it. Some songs are totally like mixed with all this, and then so it's different. But I know this time we kind of separated the songs. We did the music first and separated the songs, and we each kind of approached a certain group of songs individually, and then we all came together and edited it ourselves. And when we came together for the first time, we realized that there was a theme, that there was specific imagery, specific ideas that we had all kind of touched on in a different way, but they were all like kind of popping up again and again. And that was really cool because, I mean, I guess we were all informed by the music itself, but it's cool that we could kind of come up separately with the same theme, and that worked into this new album. And as James said, there was stuff in Swim Slowly that kind of made that thematically coherent as well. But I think it goes back to like what we talked about with connections with music. Like it all comes from an emotion. It all comes from an experience. And so we each kind of bring in our own experiences and emotions and whatever we're going through at the time. And usually because we're together so often and because we're all, going through different things, but together, like it kind of informs that theme and that particular piece of music and makes it somewhat coherent.
Right on. And right now, I know we'll touch upon it a little bit later on, but would you guys say you have kind of almost the same music taste, with all of you guys combined?
It's
Perhaps?
similar.
There's definitely a spread, but
Yeah,
we kind of have like some core bands that like we all like love
Yeah.
together, and then there's all kinds of different little artists.
Yeah, I think we each have, like Ian said, we each have like a core band, and we each were kind of brought up with, like I said, those classic rock bands, and then we have our modern bands we all agree on, but then each of us have our own like outside tastes. But I also think we all like, I think all of us all really like a lot of different stuff too, which helps a lot. Even though we might not have, like, we each have our own specific tastes, we each have different tastes for sure with certain things we don't agree on. I think we all have a ton of different type of music that we like.
Yeah. I think we, like, when we came together, we started with like a very like concentrated, like mixed selection of artists that we really liked and that we were kind of like directly sort of playing off of. And then like for this new stuff, I think we've all just like brought in our own influences of other stuff we like, and then it's kind of just made something more interesting. And I feel like we're developing our own voice a lot more with the new songs, kind of. And then we also have Ian, who's like our obscure music guru guy. We'll just bring in random shit that none of us have ever heard of.
Yeah.
Right on. So I'm gonna bring the hard questions right now, right? You can say you're in an island. You only have 3 songs out of all of your songs you made. You can only pick 3 songs.
Oh.
What would it be? Kind of. Yeah, each get 3. You guys can individually pick, but it's I know a lot of people say like their songs are kind of like their kids, so you're just gonna have to pick your 3 favorite kids and shove the rest in the corner.
From what's out now.
I guess we have to choose from only what's out now, because people won't understand if it's stuff we're.
Well, I mean, if you want to tease everyone, you can.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's all the new songs.
Yeah.
Me, let's go from what's out now. I gotta do the latest single, "Only in Your Eyes." Absolutely love it. Just the old stuff that I enjoy the most, especially playing. "Full of You" is one of my favorite songs to play live, and probably "Wash Over Me." I had a blast playing that one.
That's tough. I feel like that's tough. I wasn't ready to pick 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
I still really like "Fool of You." That's an older one, and I still love that song. I think that's a nice one. It's fun to play live too. It's even better live.
Yeah, it's hard to just.
I like it just because it's so extremely dreamy and nice.
Yet heavy.
And the studio version does have a different thing, which is nice that we don't do live too, which is like that end vocal thing. I like how that works in the studio one. But I don't know. I guess I almost tended to be the most popular 3, or probably my favorite 3, which is kind of funny. So I think "Love Again" and "On Your Own" are also like some of my favorite ones that's out.
So 3.
So "Love Again," "On Your Own," and "Full of You."
Yeah, top 3.
I'm not gonna plug the latest song.
I will plug the latest song. I actually genuinely do really like our new single, "Only Your Eyes." And it is super fun to play live. It feels like different sonically. It feels like it's building on what we've done in the past, but there's a lot of new colors and stuff in there. And then I love "Love Again." That's probably one of my favorite songs. But then there's a few that I like. I really like lyrically a lot, so maybe I'll just do like a lyric once. I'd probably go with like "On Your Own" or "We'll See" or "Wash Over Me." Like those ones lyrically, I really like. And I know that like somebody got the "Wash Over Me," like someone got a tattoo of like some of the lyrics, which is really cool.
So is that 3 or 5?
That's like 5.
And
But-
3.
So my 3 would be "Only Your Eyes," "Wash Over Me," and "Love Again."
Okay.
Good list.
Yeah. it's tough. I will also pick Only in Your Eyes because I really like that one. It signifies a different, well, obviously the new release, and kind of I think for us it's like you said, it's a Meltt song, but it's also a kind of a brighter, more dancey and groovy song, and so yeah, and I really like that song. So I'd choose that one. I would choose Love Again, I guess, because it's a Meltt staple. It'd be boring. And then I'm having a really tough time between On Your Own and Watch Over Me, but
So pretty much
I'm
the
gonna
same.
go with On Your Own because they picked Watch Over Me and I think they gave it a lot. I'm gonna do On Your Own, Love Again, and
Right, and all these songs, if you're allowed to, if I'm allowed to ask, are you so you kind of have like a set list you'd be already prepared for the festivals and concerts you'd be going to?
yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Unless
things
you say
change.
something right now to change our minds.
You
What do you
know,
want
just,
to be allowed?
Oh, I'm actually getting a pot.
Yeah.
Man,
You
that
can,
is.
you can change it right now.
I can change.
No, what
You're putting me on the spot here now, right?
The thing is that we have not obviously until some of the new music comes out, we have not like the largest catalog of the LP and the EP, so it's not a huge amount. So we played most of the songs actually, which is a good thing. But we had to cut a couple, so yeah, we're curious
if you had to pick like 3.
Yeah, 3 next.
Look, honestly, I mean, with me personally, again, this is just maybe like a guilty pleasure for me. Would probably just be "Full of You." I think that was probably one of the first songs I've listened to. In fact, that is the first song I listened to.
Yeah.
So that one would honestly, if you probably played that one, I'd probably start crying like a baby at your concert and everything. But
yeah, it might have a special moment in the set for you.
I'm like, oh my god, just everything, right? But that one probably Love Again, and kind of like what you mentioned, it was a staple song, and I think that's probably the one that killed it. Honestly, for everything, it was really awesome, and I would love to hear Only in Your Eyes. Like you said, it was more of a groovy tune to it. You kind of just want to just jam out, kind of walk the streets, kind of flick your finger like that and everything. So
a little more bop, a little more dance to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I better see you guys before you walk on the stage, just trying to start flicking your fingers, kind of in sequence and everything. But yeah, so kind of now to you guys, right? At a personal level, can you name a few albums perhaps you listen to? Besides maybe you listen to your creations, or perhaps maybe you listen to other bands. Can do song recommendations you guys can hit us with?
I'm assuming you want more of a modern.
What's up to you? I mean, whatever you want. What's on the repeat right now for you guys?
Well, this is just a band I just thought of because I just was listening to it the other night again. It's not even really like us, but I just love it. It's this band from BC, actually. They're on the Vancouver Island called Loving. Yeah, everything they've done I love. It's really nice lo-fi psych folk music with a lot of vibrato and wonky tune and warm and tapey and just lovely. It's really good. It's just a great band. I just love that. It's nothing like us, but it's not nothing like us, but it's so pleasant and nice.
We all love that.
I want to be more like that.
Those albums.
It's a gorgeous album.
Even their previous EP too. It's worth checking. It's all
I'd say in terms of stuff I've been recently into, I just got into actually the other week when I was in the car with Chris and we just had a Spotify playlist or something going, and I found this artist and I just got into her more lately and I love her. Alice Phoebe Lou is her name, and the album that I really got into is called Glow, which is funny because it's one of our songs, but but I highly recommend it. It's really good.
Just as like an all-time favorite, I really like this band Junip and their like self-titled album. It's their second album, but it's the self-titled one. And like I love both their albums, but like that one in particular is like a top influence for sure. Like
it's such a sick album.
Agree.
There's a bunch, obviously. If I was to say like albums that like absolutely modern albums that I've listened to over the last like 5-6 years that have influenced me a ton, a couple that stand out would be Currents, Tame Impala, Holy Fire by Foals, Zaba, Glass Animals. those would be three massive
It's
influences.
kind of like the Meltt core.
Yeah, personally, and the Meltt core. Oh, and you know what? One that's a little less Meltt core, but more like one that I absolutely loved when it came out would be 4813 by Kasabian. Just like as a whole album, I really dug that when it came out. And then one that really recently came out that I've been listening to a ton as an album is the new War on Drugs album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really sick. Is the whole album called I Don't Live Here Anymore. Yeah. So yeah, that album is really, really awesome. And obviously all their other albums are really sick, but just that recent one.
And do you guys find yourself ever listening to your guys' music just randomly at times?
No, I skip it.
Well, the thing is that we do so much listening to our music when we're mixing and making it. Like we have to listen to songs over and over and like hundreds of times each song, just like while we're making it and mixing it. Yeah, that it's hard to put on later and come to it fresh. However, I've listened to Swim Slowly like after taking months of a break during the pandemic, and I listened to it on a road trip, and I really enjoyed it, and that was nice to actually be able to listen to it fresh without being like, I've heard this so much.
Yeah.
So
I feel like the only time because I feel the same way, like we just heard it so much in the process of making it. That's kind of like our enjoyment of the song is the making of it.
Yeah.
But then if I have like a couple beers or something, then I just feel like there's some distance between me and the music,
Totally.
and I can like appreciate it more or something.
yeah.
Feel separated from it.
Yeah, it has to be some kind of separation either. If it's either with time, like with Swim Slowly now, there's some time apart from hearing it, or some beers, yeah. Or some beers. Yeah.
No, definitely. I think
Another artist just to shout out that I think is a good influence I love is the band Starfucker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole catalog.
Yeah, they're sweet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So
Love them.
We can
kind of like a
so many bands.
Tycho.
and kind of like a maybe a guilty question for me, but do you guys collect vinyls perhaps? Yeah, maybe you guys are kind of big on that.
Chris is a big vinyl
Chris is a
collector.
big I got a minor collection.
I have a minor
that I
collection
mostly
as well.
Inherited from a friend.
Me
from
too.
A friend.
From my mom and
Yeah.
dad.
I used to collect vinyl, then I saw how many Chris was getting, and I was like, well, fuck it. There's no point.
Yeah.
No one would listen to his. Like,
Yeah.
What you should do is when you're in Austin, go to the Waterloo Records. That's our record shop here. That's like the biggest one here, and I think arguably in Texas.
Waterloo?
Yeah, Waterloo Records.
Right now.
Yeah, and that one right there, they sell a shit ton of records. Like I'm talking like from old school to like the new stuff. It's anything you can probably think of. It's probably there. I don't know if you know this band called Have a Nice Life. It's kind of like some like I don't know. It's kind of like I hate to sound all cheesy, but opens up your third eye or some shit like that. Where their music's so interesting and it comes with like a little pamphlet that talks about. I don't want to get all deep in everything, but it's more sure that what's the point of death is what they're trying to do. Long story short, I was on Discogs trying to buy it, and people were selling it for almost $400, and I called Waterloo, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're selling it for like $30, bro. Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Dude, fuck yeah!" I was like, "I'll take that."
That's awesome.
So
definitely would love to check that out. That sounds sweet.
And another hack on that, which it hurts my pockets. So I would say only use this when you really want some vinyls, but put on some earphones. And you know how the old saying is never judge a book by its cover? What I do is I look at some album covers. I'm like, you know what, that looks pretty cool. I go on Spotify or whatever and just start streaming the song, streaming the album. And I'll leave with like, thinking I'm gonna spend like one or buy one or two albums. I ended up coming like 6 or 7 albums in my head.
Yeah.
So
it's super important. We know a lot of fans that even comments on YouTube have been like, "Oh, we saw the album cover and we just thought it was a cool picture, so we listened to music and they liked it." So
and kind of going back to that one, Only in Your Eyes. That was such an interesting album cover. I thought that was it looks so dreamy and everything. I really do like that a lot. So I think that was an interesting pick on that end. But
that's all done by the same guy that did all our other artwork as well. This guy Carrasca.
Yeah, he did all our
Instagram.
singles and our Swim Slowly album.
Super talented guy. Yeah.
No, and oh my god! And I guess that now that we're on that, I kind of have to ask, what's the idea of the Swim Slowly? It's kind of like a space station or something like that, where there's a train in space, and I was like, holy shit, that is nuts!
Space, yeah.
It's a departure from your daily life.
Exactly. Take you on a trip.
Yeah, and I was just like, that is so groovy. Just looking at, and then I'm looking at some more. It was just like a car flying with some like
Yeah,
balloons in the back.
yeah.
So,
The
man,
open out. Yeah, yeah. No, he did all that, and he's a super talented collage artist. Um, we actually just we're lucky to come across him on Pinterest. I think is where we saw that image he had, and we contacted him. We're like, well, this is perfect for our album. And yeah, been working with him ever since. He's just there's something about his art that obviously we all love, which is one thing because obviously everyone has different tastes in art as well, and so we all unanimously love what he does, and it also just fits with the music so perfectly.
Yeah.
So we've
It's nice to have
worked with him
cinematic
again.
imagery to go with it all.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Again, I just all the art that you've made or he's made that you had in your albums is just so awesome. I literally can probably have him as like my home screen and everything because it's just
yeah.
so,
No, give him some love. Like he's on. I don't know if you know him on Instagram, but yeah, it's Carrasca on Instagram. He's worth checking out because he does tons of art in that same style, collage art. And he's super talented. So he's worth following for sure on social media. And yeah.
Of course, yeah, definitely. We'll go ahead and for sure plug them for sure on that. But kind of going back to your band, you mentioned you're working on a new album. I know you're not going to be, you can't really say too much about it, but is there anything you can probably give us, when it might be coming out, what's going to be in it, what to expect? If you're willing to share it, maybe you want to give us all the songs names. I don't know, man.
Well,
we can't give you an album name or an album date yet. That's all locked up. But we can tell you that it's probably our most diverse music we've ever made. The most like colorful, like wide-ranging music we've ever made. I think it's my favorite music we've ever made. So
yeah, it's different than it's like you said. I think it's got the Meltt. You can tell it's Meltt, but it's got a very different take, a very different sound overall. We're trying to do that thing, like you said, like balance, like being recognizable and not alienating fans with something that's totally a different genre and having like the Meltt staple, but also innovating and making something totally different than what we've made before. And I think Only in Your Eyes is an example of that. We don't really have a song like that even now, but you can tell it's Meltt. So kind of balancing all that. And there's definitely going to be some things coming down the pipeline in the next near future. So
yeah, so like the bigger tangible differences is like instrumentation is less it's less guitar based, I guess, which is what makes it probably a lot more widespread and kind of new for us. Like some of it I wouldn't even have a full reference for like how that's like something else yet.
Yeah, like Chris said, the guys have been doing tons of like synth explorations during the pandemic, getting deep. So we've expanded into a lot of that kind of vibe.
I feel like we're definitely finding our voice more as well on this record. Like what's unique to us for sure.
Yeah.
Right on, yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm dying to listen to some more after listening to Only in Your Eyes. So at this point, you're just teasing me, man. You're just
don't worry, there is more coming. There's more coming. Just hold on and keep a lookout and
keep on streaming Only in Your Eyes.
Exactly, and you will be rewarded. Don't worry. There's lots coming down the pipeline for sure.
We're gonna have
that.
Quite a few. Yeah, there'll be a few singles before. For any album stuff. So
and kind of going back on your tours, I know I keep bringing it back up, but more than that, will you be performing any more of these songs on tour with you guys besides Only in Your Eyes?
Not on this tour, unfortunately. We're gonna save it for once more is out, basically. And I think there's a good chance we're gonna be touring again in August more extensively. So we should be able to play a handful more songs then, basically.
Yeah, we're going to do Only in Your Eyes for this one, but we'll be trying to do all the rest of whatever's coming out for the next little while on the next one. So
yeah. So kind of getting a little bit more deep now into you guys. If you can look back at your younger selves, would there be any advice you would give to yourself? Anything you would say to do differently? Perhaps maybe do the same. What you just keep on doing what you're doing, or how would that work out for you guys?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Stick with music. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of
since I did stick with music, I guess. I don't know. I guess just keep doing what you think's right.
Follow your heart. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to. There's so much like maturing and like experiences that you go through that form who you are. It's like it's hard to say something to yourself that encapsulates all of that. You know, I feel like I'm such a different person now than I was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. So, but yeah, I would just say trust your gut.
Yeah, it's hard to say that I would change anything because
Mhm.
I like where things are going right now in my life, but I would probably say like you don't need to be. This is a horrible advice for this specific radio channel, but I would say for me in my particular case, I would say like don't stay in university. Like leave university after. I don't know. After a while I thought that I got all I could kind of get out of it. Maybe so.
Stay in school, okay?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
just that's for me in particular. I think university is a great option for a lot of other people. So
No, yeah, definitely. And I think every artist has their own different way. In fact, I know a couple weeks ago when I was interviewing someone straight up said like, "Oh, don't even." He said, "I could say anything to myself. I would tell myself not to be music." It's just it's every artist is different. I feel like and I think kind of going back to what I was mentioning about a stigma. You kind of feel like everyone's kind of the same, but then until you actually talk to them, you realize they're not the same. They're people just like you and I, and
Well,
you
yeah,
know
it's the same thing. Every
Yeah.
person is different. Like,
exactly.
like James said, like for him, maybe that would be the best thing. And if you have like a situation similar and you have something else outside of it you want to pursue, but you're staying in a situation just because you think that's the thing to do, maybe it's not. Maybe you have to trust your gut and pursue that other thing to the fullest. And maybe for you it's not. Maybe you should finish that degree or finish that job or finish. You know what I mean? And it's different for everyone. Like you said, different artists are different, people are different, and artists are just people. So I think it's just about trusting your gut. And if you have something, some motivation, some dream, some goal, and you think could be doing something different to pursue that, then do that. Trust yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But yeah, guys, I want to, like I said, just thank you guys for stopping by. I'm gonna talk to you guys after we're done with the show, but just kind of for right now, we have any closing thoughts or statements? Anything you want to plug? Perhaps your Instagram. I know you had something going on your Instagram. Anything you want to plug in specifically?
Come see us on tour.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anyone in Seattle and San Francisco and LA and Orange County and Austin, of course, and Boise. We're going to be playing there we're starting Monday. We got our show in Seattle and we'll be going down the West Coast. So yeah,
Come say hi.
come say hi, come
say
watch
hi.
the show, listen to the new song, and definitely be on the lookout for more stuff coming out down the pipe for sure.
Right on. Well, like I said, thank you all for just stopping by, taking the time out of your day. We here at St. Edward's University, especially here at the All Access, we all appreciate you guys just taking the time out of your day just to come talk to us. And again, here in Austin, there's a lot of inspiring artists to want to start something, and just trying to get an outside perspective of what could I be doing or whatnot. You guys make it easier for people. Just to kind of listen to other people's stories and. I think, or to an extent, to what I mentioned earlier, kind of exploring people's music to give yourself, a general idea of what you should be doing. I feel like it goes a long way. So, once again, thank you so much for just taking the time, and I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having us.
we really appreciate having us.
Yeah, we can't wait to be down there in Austin and meet some of the people in person. And yeah, we're super happy to be on. Appreciate you reaching out to us.
Right on. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you.